In the grand halls of the Capitol building, where echoes of history whispered through marble corridors, the air felt heavy with anticipation. It was a crisp autumn morning in Washington, D.C., the kind where sunlight filtered through tall windows, casting long shadows across polished wooden desks. Representatives gathered in the Oversight Committee room, a space filled with the quiet hum of murmured conversations and the rustle of papers. Among them sat Byron Donalds, a tall man with a steady gaze, his suit neatly pressed, his mind focused on the day's agenda. Across the room was Rashida Tlaib, a passionate advocate known for her fierce defense of justice, her eyes sharp and determined. The meeting began calmly, as these things often did. Chairs creaked softly as people settled in. The chairman called the session to order, his voice even and measured. They were there to discuss federal law enforcement in the city, a topic that touched on safety, rights, and the balance of power. Byron listened attentively, jotting notes on a yellow pad. He thought of his family back in Florida, how he wanted to build a safer world for them. Rashida, too, reflected on her constituents in Michigan, people who had faced hardships and sought fairness. The room smelled faintly of coffee and old books, a comforting reminder of democracy at work. But beneath the surface, tension simmered like a pot left too long on the stove. The relatable problem emerged slowly, as discussions turned to President Trump's recent actions. Some saw them as necessary steps to curb crime, others viewed them as overreach, infringing on local freedoms. Rashida spoke first, her words clear and deliberate. She described the surge of federal agents as a fascist takeover, her voice rising just a notch, echoing the fears of those she represented. It was a word that carried weight, stirring memories of dark histories. Byron felt a pang in his chest, not just disagreement, but a personal sting. He had dedicated his life to public service, rising from humble beginnings, and such labels felt like a barrier between colleagues who should be working together. The atmosphere thickened, the air growing warmer as voices overlapped. Byron raised his hand, waiting his turn with patience. When he spoke, his tone was firm yet controlled. "Do I look like a member of the Third Reich?" he asked, his eyes meeting Rashida's across the room. It was a direct challenge, born from frustration, but delivered without malice. The words hung in the air, a gentle twist that shifted the room's energy. Murmurs turned to gasps, papers shuffled more urgently. Chaos began to erupt, not in violence, but in a cascade of raised voices and pointed fingers. The chairman banged his gavel, calling for order, but the emotional undercurrent was too strong. Rashida responded passionately, defending her stance, her face flushed with conviction. Byron stood his ground, his heart pounding, feeling the weight of representation on his shoulders. Amid the uproar, time seemed to slow. Byron paused, taking a deep breath, the scent of the room's aged wood grounding him. He thought of his journey, from Brooklyn streets to the halls of Congress, driven by a dream of unity. Rashida, too, reflected inwardly on her roots, her Palestinian heritage fueling her fight against injustice. The shouting faded into echoes as aides intervened, separating the fray. The chairman adjourned briefly, allowing a natural pause for tempers to cool. In that quiet interlude, the sun shifted, casting a softer light through the windows. As the meeting resumed, a subtle change unfolded. Byron approached Rashida during a break, his steps measured across the carpeted floor. "I respect your fire," he said softly, "but let's find common ground." She nodded, her expression softening, acknowledging the shared humanity beneath their differences. The twist had revealed not enemies, but two people shaped by life's struggles, both seeking a better America. The session continued with renewed civility, discussions flowing like a gentle stream.